Alright, so welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful and exciting tutorial, we're trying to explore a very nice idea, right? Or a very nice tool called Toon. So Toon stands for Token Oriented Object Notation. So what is the point of Toon? Why do we want to use Toon, right? So what is the idea behind Toon? So in most cases, when you are trying to work with LLM, it has to do with token in, token out, right? So the input you are putting inside the LLM and then the input out. So most of the time we are mostly talking about things like this. We have the input tokens, right? And then the output tokens, right? So that is the result that is going to come out, right? So your output. These are the main stuff, right? Output tokens. And then in case, and then there is something called context window. So this is your LLM. So LLM context window, right? So in case you want to use any LLM, right, one of the things you should be considering is the context window, right, and then the input tokens and the output tokens. Now this is mostly what is used in pricing of the LLM, right, in case you get an LLM from any of the providers. So if I go to something like artificial analysis.ai, you see from here the pricing of leading AI models based on independent evaluations. We have input and output, right, and these are mostly based on tokens, right? So you can see all of these different LLMs and then the amount of money you are supposed to spend based on the input tokens, the tokens that you are putting into the system, right? So that means that the more tokens you are putting inside, the more you're going to pay. The same way, if I go back here and I check these ones, you can see that we have the input price and then output price and then the context window, right, and the amount of tokens you are going to be putting inside and what you're going to get back. So because of that, people have found out a way of trying to optimize or cheat or become efficient with this amount of money they are spending. And one of the ways in which you can do that is to use Toon, right? So Toon is token oriented object notation. That is a very nice way in which we try to optimize the amount of tokens you are putting into an LLM, especially if you want to use JSON. So the idea is that with Toon, you have your JSON format that you want to put inside, then you encode it, the Toon tool, the Toon formatter, then you get the Toon format, which you can now feed it into an LLM. And that is very useful because now you are reducing the context, the amount of tokens, the amount of extra characters within your data into something that is still minimal with every information that is required for the LLM to understand. Why are the LLMs able to do that? The idea is that every LLM, most of these LLMs are trained on huge sums of data, and all the data have different formats. So there is text files, markdown, JSON file that is used to train the LLM. So the LLM is able to understand and produce these formats. So for example, if I have a text like this, I want to show you an example. I go to any LLM, right? I go to, let's say, Perplexity, and I ask it to convert this data into CSV, right? So I'm going to pass this data. It's going to convert this one into CSV. So that is, the LLM is able to convert this data into CSV. I can tell it to convert it to JSON. So convert it to, let's say, YAML. It's going to convert the same data, right, that I passed into YAML, right? So I can also try it again. So convert it into, let's say, Markdown. So the LLMs are powerful enough to be able to convert, just converted into a Markdown table, right? So the LLMs are powerful enough to convert any data they are putting into different formats. So that is a very nice feature about that. Because of that nice feature of the LLM, that means that you can take your JSON, right, the same data you have in case it's JSON, convert it to Toon, which is going to reduce the amount of tokens, and then you can feed it into the LLM. Remember that the LLM can understand any of them. It can take your data and convert it to any of these formats. The same way you can place any of these formats, right, into the LLM and to be able to understand it. So it doesn't matter what you are putting inside. What it matters is the context, right, within it. It doesn't matter the format, because as you can see from here, it could convert to Markdown, it could convert to YAML, it could convert to CSV. Very cool, right? So by the same idea, we want to optimize the amount of token we are placing into the LLM. That is why we have token oriented object notation. So in case you want to learn more, you can go to this particular place, and there is support for different programming languages. So as you can see from here, we have different formats, right? So there is support for C++, Clojure, all the rest. So let's see how to work with it in Python, and then later on try and build a very simple application here. So like something like this, if I placed here in this built in Streamlit, I can convert this one into Toon in a very nice format, and then we're going to see the token comparison. So let's see how it works. So I'll go back again to our workspace here. I'll come down to my workspace here. I'm using, let me stop this one from here. And then we will use, using gravity, right? Anti-gravity to help us with that. So I'm just going to go create a simple file. I'm going to call it as an example, let's call it as tutorial.py. And then we will install it. So how do you install it? So for now, in case you want to install this, let's close this one. In case you want to install, right, on your system, the simple approach is, for now, there is no, you can install it with this option here, right? This thing is confusing, apologies for that. Make it bigger. So to install it, just go with pip install Toon-Python, right? So hopefully in the future this is how it's going to be called, but for now, since it's not yet available on PyPy, you can go back to the official website here, which is here, right? Click on this one. It is still in development, and then you can just clone the repository. So this is how to install it. This is the simple usage, right? But in the future, it will just do, can just do Toon, right? So this option here, then you can install it on your system. So it's going to install it, and then we can now start working with it. So let's see the simple usage of it. So to use it, just go back and go it from Toon format. We want to import the actual stuff, so encode. So encode to encode it, and then decode to decode it. So these are the main stuff, right? So Toon format. And then the reason I'm getting this assistant is because of the anti-gravity, the AI that's helping me with it. Then let's give a simple example. So let's see a simple way of using it. So let's say I have my data here that I want to use. I can simply do something like this to encode, and I can pass in my data, right? So remember that we had some data that we wanted to use, so I can just pass in a simple basic data to convert it from JSON. So it's mostly JSON. So I want to convert this JSON into Toon, right? So this is my encode. And if I print this one out, so let's do print. And if I run it again, so let's print it out. Let's go here, and I'll clear off this, then Python, my tutorial, and you see that now it has converted in a very nice format. Let me make it bigger. I think it's better, right? It's too big, but it's okay. So that's converted it into a nice format. So this is the plain format. In case you have something that is nested, right? So this is very simple and plain. In case you have something that is nested like this, you can also change it. So this is the simple one. I can also do something like this. So print encode. Then this is nested, right? And I can also run this one. And if I run it again inside my Python tutorial, so now it has converted in a nice format, right? So it takes in JSON and then it converts it into a nice format for us. Very cool. You can also decode it. So in case I have something that is decoded, so let's do some decoding. So something like this. The encode also has the option of passing in parameters. As you can see, if I click on this one here, here we have the option to pass in your parameters, right? So you can see that there are some parameters you can also pass there. So I can pass in some options. So the option can be something like the amount of stuff I want. So we have options, right? So I want the type of indentation I want. You can also specify that not just the indentation, but I also want something like the delimiter that I want to use, right? So indent 4, you can also specify all of these parameters. If I go with this one and I run it again, Python tutorial. Now it's supposed to be option. I called it options, right? Or you can even go without these options. Just go with this. Yeah. Go without this. Yeah, perfect, right? So it's able to do it perfectly for us. So that is how to use it. You can also decode it. So there is also decode. In case I want to decode something, I can also do the same thing. I can get a value that I want to decode and then convert it back to its format, right? So in case you have something like this, so let me put this one into a variable called, let's say, x. And then in case I want to decode this one, I can just do my decode. Let's just do print decode x. Then let's run it, and if I go back here, I see that that's decoded back the result, right? So you can decode and encode. That is how to use Toon. It's a very simple, powerful language, right? In case you want to try more, there's a playground that you can also use to try it more, but this is a simple usage, right? So just encode, decode, and then you can pass in your data, right? Then you can also decode the data. You can also specify the same options that you had, right? Just as we have here. Perfect. So thank you for watching the tutorial. I hope you have learned something. So in the next tutorial, we're trying to see how to build a simple Streamlit app for it. So I'm just going to go back here and show you the simple Streamlit app that you are building. So this is a simple Streamlit app that we build. Very simple. So what we are doing is that we just import a Toon format, encode, compare, and then compare, estimate savings, and count tokens to be able to count the tokens. Then we import a Streamlit, and then we set up the main structure. Then within our Streamlit app, we have two tabs, one to encode and decode. Then within our tab, we just take the JSON text, right, that we have. And then we set some options. So we have the delimiter in case you want to use a question, semicolon, comma, or tab, or pipe, or the indent, how much you want to be, and the length maker. So the length array maker is in case you have an array, what is going to be used to be the demarker, right? And then we have the button to encode. Then once we click on the button, we load the JSON file, we specify the conditions for the options, then we check the delimiter that I want to use, and then we use Toon to encode it, right? Then we return the result back using Streamlit. Then we do the computation, we count the tokens, and then the tokens for JSON output, for the Toon output, and then we compare them and then return them. So very simple. And then we repeat the same logic for the Toon to JSON, right? The same idea, because we have the decode option. So I'll close it from here, and then we can run it from here. So Streamlit run app.py. Then we can now check it out. So this is the simple workflow, right? The simple application that you can see from here. Let's close from here and use Chrome. I prefer to use Chrome. And then this is the application, right? So now we can actually test it. So in case you have an example, you can just paste it here. And then if I click on this, so we see that it has been encoded. Let's use a different complicated one. So I'll go back here, I'll copy this entire data, and let's see if we can use our application that we have built to Streamlit to be able to encode it. I'll paste it here. Then we have a delimiter. Sometimes the nesting of the distance may affect it, but let's check. Perfect. You can see from here that our Streamlit application was able to encode it perfectly well, and this is the amount of tokens. So you can see how much tokens you are saving by using Toon, right? So this is the original tokens, number of characters, because there are also white space there, and together with all the question mark, exclamation, and closing bracket. But with Toon, you see that we saved ourselves, right? We have 41 tokens that we can actually use, and we saved ourselves this amount of money. So the idea behind Toon is just to save you money, right? And save you the amount of inputs you're putting inside an LLM, right? Still preserving the main idea. So thank you for watching. See you another time. You can check out the other tools for Toon. So there's different support for the different tools, right? And in case you are coming from Node.js, there is also a simple one. There is the CLI that you can also use. So you can go to here. Let's try with the CLI. The CLI is, since I've installed it already, I can actually use the CLI to do that. So I can clear up this and then go with Toon. So this is the CLI, and then with the CLI you can actually run it simply, right? So we have Toon Encode, Toon Decode. So I can just go with my Toon, then I specify the input. So the input is, let's say, my example.json. Then I specify the output. Let's go to output.json.toon. Then it's going to do the conversion. You can see that just converted it into Toon for us. I can also do the reverse, so Toon, then I can pass in my output, then specify it automatically detect, so example2.json, and then it's going to convert it back, right? Perfect. So that is a very nice tool. So thank you for watching. See you another time. Stay blessed. Bye.